Hey guys, this is Katipo for hsng.com, and I'm here to bring you a short video at 20 big blinds at 1020, and it's basically really late, so this is the only guy I'll find to play, but he's not at all good, I think, so I wasn't even going to play this level until I saw him play a little bit, and he just seemed to be open shoving extremely deep. I mean, 20 big blinds relatively frequently, like king 10 suited. 3-bet shoving almost exclusively as his big blind defending strategy, and just in general being a little bit, yeah, like there we go, a little bit spewy. So even though I would say that I don't want to play a reg at this level, I think given his tendencies, I would prefer to just play him a little bit, and if I run horribly, then play some other person or play a different game type. But right now, I think I'll just give him a try again. I did play him for like 5 minutes before this, and we were at 25 big blinds. None of us stacked off or anything. But I prefer to play him shorter because he actually seems much better when he's a little bit deeper. And this HUD here is inspired by both the coffee HUD and also... he limped. I've never seen him do that before. I could shove, but I'm not sure why he's limping, so I don't want to do that if his range is maybe trappy. Yeah, it's inspired by the coffee HUD and the awesome HUD, but it has a lot of extra little things, and I like it a lot, but I unfortunately can't give it away because it has some elements that are actually directly from coffee HUD, like for instance right here, the Nash charts. See, this open shoving at this level I just don't think is optimal at all, and it's possible he's playing a Nash strategy, but I don't really know. I still kind of doubt it because he seems to be doing it just a little bit too often. Alright, 3-bet shoving a lot, so I'll tighten up my range a bit. He's 3-betting as a shove 43%. Well, if he's really doing this, then, and that's his entire strategy, just 3-betting and doing it all in, then actually I'm not going to tighten up my range at all. But if he starts to call, then of course, if he's going to play more than 50%, I'm going to have to decide if I want to continue the range that I have right now or not. But if he's 3-betting as a shove, yeah, you know, there's not much post-flop play, and what it also means is that my positional advantage is essentially non-existent, of course, and that if he plays less than 50%, then I do want to raise everything. If he plays more than that, then I want to probably tighten up some. Okay, so of course I'm going to value bet here, but I think he has an 8. I was thinking like but a check raise would be good, but when considering it more, I figured, you know, he'd probably have given me more of a reason to think he has a king before that. So I would guess he has an 8, but this side is ridiculous and doesn't let you see what hand he has. Okay, so this is going to be a call with the amount he's been 3-bet shoving. So I'm probably only going to play till one of us loses a buy-in, because after that I've actually got to go at 7 a.m. I haven't slept, and I've got to make a 4.5-hour drive, and I'll probably be gone for a couple months. Okay, I'd say this would be a shove here or a call, but I'd prefer to shove. And the reason is just that I don't know how he plays post-flop yet, so I'll just take the plus EV route instead of making any extra guesses. Seem to almost think there. I don't know if that's real. I doubt it. Okay, so far it seems he is being tight out of position 41%, so that's an automatic profit even if he is 3-bet shoving like a monkey. And we'll see if this keeps up. But I never expected somebody at 10-20, and I don't know, this guy might even play higher than that, but I never expected somebody to just be having essentially a shove fold strategy at 20 big blinds while buying in this short. Like, he's actually preferring short tables, and he only buys in short. So I don't see how this strategy is supposed to be good. It's very different from Super Turbo strategy, and it's the same stack depth. The only difference would be, I guess, that there's some rake, but the rake isn't that huge at these levels. So I'm continuing to analyze the HUD while just considering my options here, but man, he really seems to be open shoving so much wider than Nash, so very confusing here. Very confusing as to why he's doing this. Like, what is the purpose of just open shoving? If you think you have an edge, and this guy's a reg, I see him on here every day, why are you open shoving so much? Why are you playing maybe a Nash strategy or some combination of it? I just don't understand the logic behind that. If he wasn't familiar with short stack play or something similar to that, I could understand it because maybe he's just trying to double up quickly and use his advantage deeper stacked, or maybe he just wants to take the route that would most likely not be absolutely horrible, but even if it's not best, because he doesn't know what to do otherwise. Yeah, very confusing player. But anyway, I would say, wow, very surprising that people play this way. And I'll continue to analyze it. If you guys have any feedback about this kind of opponent, I've never seen anything like it, then let me know. I'm really curious. I played all kinds of sit and goes and a lot of hyper turbos on merge, and I played at every level basically, usually 100s, 200s, and never have I seen somebody with just a 3-bet or a nothing strategy in the big blind. This is 73 hands, and we still have him 3-betting 44% or doing nothing. Very weird. I might even want to play more tables if I have to go pretty soon then, like 20 minutes or so. I should probably start packing, so we'll see. But so far it's just pre-flop pretty much for the entire game. And let me see, anything else that's interesting? The c-betting is not very high, so it's a little bit surprising. It's logical, I guess, though, because he's not actually super aggressive post-flop like I thought he might be so far. Okay, so I've got a 3, and he is giving up some on the turn, so that's the only reason I would call it here, because if he was one of the really aggressive players that only c-bets his strong hands and draws, essentially, but with some like really weak draws too, then this probably would be a fold, like 57% c-bet if that were the case, and then he was also barreling me quite a bit. It'd be very tough, but I don't think he's always doing that. We have here 0%. Now, of course, it's going to go up, but still. Okay, so 16.5 big blinds. Now his shove fold strategy is becoming a little bit less horrible, I think. Alright, king queen suited, and he just decides to shove, which, you know, works if you hit a queen, but other than that, okay, I managed to hit a flush, but other than that, I don't see the point. Like, I would probably react to him opening the button 71%, or not 71%, sorry, 74%. I was looking at this other stat backs, and that's, okay, this is the only time I would think it's logical should open shove, but no, not really. There are a few other situations, but what I'm saying is, if he's opening the button something like this, 70% plus, I am probably going to just be 3-bet shoving myself quite a bit, and probably like some queen 3 suited or whatever, so king queen would dominate a lot of those hands, and it also plays really well post flop, and you have position. So what's the point of open shoving it? I just don't get it. I mean, you are making some money, of course, because it's a strong hand. It's ahead of my my likely hands, of course, every time pretty much, but Why? Yeah, I'm just super confused and also very tired. But I hope there's some logic that I'm missing because I don't get how this guy could be profitable at high stakes. I mean, this is essentially we're playing essentially a $400 hyper, but a little bit deeper than average because it's always stuck at this blind level. But yeah, but this guy is supposed to somewhat be good, so I just don't get it. So you don't see this in $400 hypers. You don't see anybody play like this. All right, I could potentially shove, but I don't think I want to yet because he's making so many other mistakes, and King Deuce is just only very marginally okay there. And it plays badly versus a calling range. I would rather shove something like 4-8 suited because the calling range won't have it dominated as much. If he continues to play like this, I might just stick around a little bit longer though. I really don't have that much time, but we'll see. Still, just calling 30%. But he is at least not playing a less than 50% out of position strategy. I'm c-betting half pot, there's no need to c-bet more on such a dry board. Snap call. Call any because if he raises it's always all in so far. He hasn't 3-bet non all in even once. I didn't have to have school right now, starting tomorrow basically. I'd love to play this guy on some other occasions, but he'll probably still be around, so we'll see. Snap call. Unfortunate. And the limping. I'm not sure about the limping yet. What does it mean? I'm just gonna check here because I'm guessing he's gonna limp stab. He has every other time so far. So I'm just calling. And probably gonna call again, but probably also folding the river. We'll see. And I'm gonna check to induce a bluff because he has been somewhat aggressive, but I don't really know if he's gonna bluff or not. So it's marginal either way. If I check fold, it's okay probably, but you know, I just don't know how he plays yet. There we go. He would normally bet his bigger spades on the turn too, so that was another reason I called. Though some people just decide not to bluff those boards, and others are always bluffing them, so it's really very variable. Open shove, please. Come on, you know you want to. Just kidding. But he does actually really do that way too much. He's playing more than 50%, so I'm folding some of the absolute trash. Especially since, yeah. So I think he's just gonna do stupid things like open shove, really strong hands, and not min raise. So I'll just wait a little bit more for that. Okay, now I think honestly his calling range should hit this pretty hard. If he is calling something, and he is calling a few things, I would hope and think that it's like Jack 10, all Jack 9, 10, 8, those kinds of hands. So I probably could bet here, and it would not be bad at all, but I'm just really suspicious on this sort of board because I don't understand what the hell his calling range is if he's shoving all the weak high card hands, open shoving the strong high card hands, and doing that kind of stuff. 6-7 suited. Okay, so I was right. But again, that's actually not a bad hand to shove. It's, I think, in some ways better as a shove. Now, if we get to like 12 big blinds, I will just top it up to 400 because then it's just too low edge. Wow. What? Did I win? Holy shit, that's crazy. Eh, whatever. Oh no, now we're actually deeper. I'm gonna have to find a different table. He's not gonna play shove fold anymore. I'm just gonna raise this because I don't think he's shoving as wide while we're deeper. And he's probably still not calling very much. So if he's still playing shove fold somewhat and not calling a whole lot, then you can open hands that don't play that well post flop. Very tempted to shove versus him there, but I still think it's just a little too deep for the kind of player he is. And the edge I think that is available in this game. Now the checks make me think he very likely has ace highs, and of course he doesn't have a draw. I'm pretty sure he would have bet that. He's not quite ridiculous enough not to bet a draw. He could have 9 or some other random trappy hand, but ace high shouldn't really bet here, so kind of weird. And I'm trying to think what else he could have that makes sense to play this way. And I'm not coming up with that many hands, so I am actually considering a call. So he could hit a deuce or a 5 and be value betting, though. Even that would be possible, though not really that amazing, because he should know that I don't have ace high that he could get called by really that often here. I'll probably be simply 3-bet shoving those. So would he be checking back a 7? I think it's maybe a really weak 7, and he could have some weak 7s. Man, it's complicated by the fact that he doesn't c-bet all his air necessarily. And I'm just gonna call here for now. Yeah, it didn't make a ton of sense. But yeah, like I said, he's not c-betting all his air, so that's another factor there to consider. Because if he were to c-bet all his air, then I should be way more skeptical there on the river when calling. And I wouldn't call, actually. Because it really means that he very likely has some showdown value, like an ace high, or it could be ace 5, something like that. That turned a pair, or it could be some other hand like pocket 4s, whatever, some kind of hand like that, and then maybe some really thin value bet. I don't really expect him to do it that often, but still, it's possible. Here, this is not a bad spot to check raise. So, on the other hand, yeah, I'm kind of split, but I'll just do it. I'm split because he's not c-betting very much. But on the other hand, I also think that this is a board where he doesn't hit it very often. Like, really, very unlikely to hit. And here he just calls, but I don't like it. I don't like it as a double barrel because, okay, he probably would have shoved if he had a draw, so I'm not getting him to fold any draws that are better than mine. And 9, I just don't think is ever folding on this card. I was gonna maybe consider continuing on a flush draw card, clubs, a queen, and of course if I have a jack or a 10, I'm probably just gonna check. But anyway, that was a weird play from me too. So I don't represent a lot. I just think that his c-bet is likely to be folded out there if he has air, and I don't think he would just float it randomly at these stack depths. Okay, now here I think he nearly always would have either a pair or air, but he wouldn't have a draw almost at all, unless it comes with the pair, like some kind of gut shot or whatever. And anyway, I was just gonna say that if we were deeper, especially, I would like to bet big on the turn and big on the river and just get him to fold that weak pair. But here, especially because I've seen him do some stupid spazzy calls and stuff like that, which actually turned out to be right. But whatever, like it was just absolutely horrible. It was just some like bottom pair call and in a spot where I definitely could have a lot of very strong hands most of the time. Anyway, because I've seen him do that, I'm just not gonna take that line this short. Alright, it's a borderline call, but I'd still just decide to call because he's not c-betting very much. And when you have somebody that's c-betting only 50%, that immediately gives your range a lot more equity. So you can play way more hands out of position. And you can also have more opportunities to steal pots because he's not playing with the initiative. Now, the question is, should I try to steal here? And he's definitely calling any pair and almost certainly ace high too. Ace high for like half pot bet or something. So I decide not to. I still don't know his frequencies for checking back and his ranges, so I'm not going to go for some hero folding out play like that yet. Okay, he really should not hit this board almost at all, so it's kind of an interesting spot. And he's not going to have any pocket pairs, he's always through it shoving those. And same would go for ace-x, so he probably shouldn't even have that many gut shots. I think he could have 5, like 5-6 maybe, which would suck, but 5-7, 5-8, of course suited hands, all kinds of suited hands. I'm going to check and pick off a bluff on the river if it misses. He's really not going to have a 10 or a 9 almost ever because, again, those hands probably aren't peeling on the flop. They are overcards, but they don't connect at all. There's no gut shot, there's nothing really. So I don't think that he would be peeling those hands, and I'm just going to call here. He could have like queen 4 or whatever, but usually it's going to be a 5. Queen 4 suited, you know. But he's not normally calling, so again, that's a much more important factor than anything else here. So if he's only calling 10% and 3-betting everything else, we're still at about the same stack depth, so these should apply. What that means is that, and we've seen the 7-6 suited, is that he has a lot of very playable hands, very strong playable hands, like 7-6 suited, probably 8-9 suited, Jack 7 suited, maybe hands that he doesn't quite want to shove, but he wants to play, and he doesn't know that he can 3-bet on the lane, or that he can just call you know, many other hands too to balance out his ranges, etc. So here is probably a call. There we go. Yeah, and so what that means, a very nice hand for him. Wow, this is crazy. Oh, wish this run good continues. But yeah, what I'm saying is, what that means is that because he has only those very playable hands that are extremely connected, like the ones I've just outlined. Oh, he's done. Huh. Because he has only those, it's very hard for him to have a pair on deuce 3-4. That's not something like 5-6 or 4-5 suited. And again, 4-5 suited, I think he's still shoving because it just is a little bit too low. Yeah, he's not gonna have something like king 4 suited or queen 4 off, or you know, those hands as often as many other players. Like I would have those plenty of time there. I probably would shove also some king 4 suited, etc. But yeah, a lot of players would manage to have top pair on that flop with no draw quite a lot, while he would very often have just you know, lower connected connected hands like 8-9 suited, etc. If he has a a draw. And if he doesn't, he'll just have the other draw from the high card. This is so hard to explain. What I'm saying. Oh wow, this is just super convoluted. I probably will have to cut this part out. Yeah, I'm kind of really confused in trying to explain it. So I'm also extremely tired. I haven't slept in like 20 hours, so I'm probably making very little sense. But okay, so the way I think about it is, when he's calling, he's mostly got connected hands that are higher, and from what we've seen. Uh, so the other times that he calls, no, I just don't make any sense.